Here we see the action, how I've modified it on this Westfield mandolin. The actual 8 strings coming over the bridge here, you'll notice that the rosewood bridge is now flush with the floating tailpiece, and this means that the actual knurled nut that adjusts action that's normally situated underneath this part has gone. I've done this totally to be playable. There's looking at from the tailpiece. Now this particular mandolin, as you'll see, it has there's a 15th fret, 17, 18, 19. I've made all 20 frets playable. You will find often on these mandolins, such as this Westfield, that it came in a state to me which was unplayable, and probably this is why the person got rid of it. And it had a burn mark, probably where they got quite frustrated on the 2nd fret there, as you can see. I've tuned it so that the thickest 2 strings, the nearest ones here, are G. The next 2 are tuned to D, then to G, these 2 here, and then to B at the top. So to play an E note, you need to go to the 5th fret on the B string, but I'm a guitarist, and to learn mandolin tuning, which is G, D, A, E, is like asking me to learn how to play a ukulele from scratch. Okay, I've got to slowly get there, but if I'm wanting to record lead riffs to songs I've actually written, then it's not a great help to me. I'm not telling you how to play mandolin. I'm just saying, if you're a guitarist, you need to have an instrument which has got a low action. I've made the action on this lovely and low and playable, and it's got a very narrow neck, a very fast action, and with the 8 strings, it's an electroacoustic. However, it's a passive pickup. If you want to get the best sound out of it, you're going to have to pluck the strings with a plectrum, and I tend to use not a soft plectrum, like a harder plectrum, and over very close and around this passive pickup you have a volume and a tone control, but that's it really. So looking from the other way at the floating bridge, and the other thing I do is I measure exactly up to the 12th fret. That's just before the 12th fret. That's to there. And you measure from the nut, which is there, to there, and then from there, from this point here, from this point the fret to your bridge should be exactly the same distance, but you have to allow something called intonation. So basically I've slanted the floating bridge so that it slants away, so it's not quite straight. As you can see on the E string, you need to have more intonation. You can check intonation with the tuner. These days clip-on tuners are very reasonably priced. People use them for ukuleles and all sorts of other instruments, so banjos, etc. So what you want is a nice low action, I think, on a mandolin. I can access all of these frets very easily and very quickly, and it gives a nice pleasant tone. You can play these if you're recording them. You can mic them very close to a microphone like an acoustic guitar without a pickup. I don't tend to use the pickup if I'm recording instruments. I like to hear the strings very close to a microphone in the same way people used to microphone acoustic guitars back in the 60s, or even they do that now. A pickup's okay, but you probably need some delay and some reverb on this instrument to make it sound better. It's not an expensive mandolin. I got it fairly cheap, and I use a guitar strap. The strings, you can buy spares, of course there's 8 strings to look at, but I've tried this on full tuning, but on the tuning I use, which is I told you, G, D, G and B, that's a familiar tuning to many guitarists. Certainly the order of strings D, G and B come to guitarists, and the bottom one, which is the G, you can easily find a way around that when you're a guitarist, because you'll tell from the bass notes you've got a nice bass note G on that.
To explain, normal mandolin tuning is starting from the string nearest to you, that's the lowest string, G, D, A and E, and of course you've got 8 strings, so each of the strings in pairs. However, because I'm a guitarist and I want to play songs quickly and be up and running fast, I decided to instead tune the mandolin to G, D, G and B. And if you're a guitarist, that's a drop tuning. Okay, it's down a long way for the bottom string, but it's workable because it's a bottom G. But these 3 strings, the order of these will be instantly recognisable to you, and your ear will tell you how to get this one right on the G. This way it's like drop tuning on a guitar, but of course the bottom one on G with 4 strings means I play a lot more mandolin. If that works for you, then fine. It's how I'm doing, because when I'm writing tunes, I'm liking to add a little bit more of another instrument, and the mandolin's beautiful for that because it adds a little bit of melody, you know, a little bit of a lead line to your tunes. So just give it a go, see what you think.